In starting this video, I ask that you follow my instructions. I would appreciate it if you could close your eyes for this first anecdote. Find it within yourself to call upon all of your past experiences to create a vivid and tangible image. Imagine it is late at night. Huddled up in your room with an open window to let out the heat of August, you sit bathed in a dull, yet somehow infinitely vibrant light that gives away the fixation that has taken your attention hostage. A screen, showcasing your virtual antics as a light, attempting to lure you into just 1, 2, 3 more minutes of playing. It's late, well past your bedtime. So far past, actually, that you speak in a tense, quiet voice. The evident fear belies the inner happiness, the fun, the enjoyment of a unique experience that you will value going forward in your life. Everything may not be perfect, but this moment, this feeling, is pure and all your own, and that's all that matters. To many, what I have described is nothing new. People tend to follow their passions half-hearted or with full intensity, no matter how they seem to others. Playing video games, which produce their own light, can be muted to produce minimal sound, and tend to have no activity timetable for when one can participate, is one of the passions that presents itself as readily available. Despite this being to the chagrin of some, it was a blessing to me. I was hyperactive and constantly bored. I liked always having something to do, to perfect and enjoy, and I needed a way to get my mental energy out of my body. Despite this, at times I was neither bored nor particularly energized, yet I played anyway. It also served as a hobby, an escape, a power fantasy. Sometimes it was just fun, sometimes it was very personally meaningful, and sometimes it was for nothing other than passing the time. In my life, video games have served as a very centering activity. They were a place I could always find comfort, and a place I could always showcase my abilities. For all these reasons and more, I owe an incalculable debt to the entire medium, as it had helped shape my mind and personality in ways few other activities could have, and I'm beyond sure that others feel the same way.
Hey, you're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush.
Escapism is a very sensitive topic for many. Feeling the need to get away from stress inevitably shoves its head into the lives of even the most dedicated entrepreneurs. In a universe where phones, the internet, and computers exist, your problems can literally track you wherever you go. Constantly, the blaring alarms, disgruntled emails, and ever-present clocks will remind you that not only do you have much to do, you also have exceedingly little time to get it done. One may assume that in a situation where you are constantly under pressure, trying to explore some escapist fantasy would be a detriment, not only to yourself, but to the people around you. If you were being relied upon, running away, or even momentarily distracting yourself can seem wasteful and harmful. As is the case with such scenarios, while there is a level of truth to that statement, there are also immense falsehoods. It is a very prevalent idea within a high-speed society such as ours that time is always of the essence. You can hardly, if ever, slow down, lest you be left behind by your peers. If you are not on the ball constantly, you may as well already have fallen off, so to speak. This impression, this constantly espoused truth, leads one to believe that if they aren't living fast, they aren't living at all. Of course you have no time for leisure. Of course there should be no way to escape even for a second, because if you did, then you'd fall further on the social monetary hierarchy than you already do. And to a degree, this is true. A lack of effort and interest rarely defines one's success in a field more than it does their failure. If you always slack, if you never put in your work, if all you care about is allowing yourself to escape the confines of the physical realm despite not having earned it in any way, then obviously that time is wasted. However, this is only an extreme of the continuum of degrees to which one can put forward effort. It is equivalently true that if one only puts that energy towards working, they will either burn themselves out or severely strain many of their personal relationships. Both cases present themselves as people prioritizing aspects of life that don't truly matter. In the former case, one has failed to see the value of hard work. Being diligent in such a way that you deserve time off is important. Financially, you will be better off, and mentally, you will definitely feel better about yourself. Few things in the world pick a person up more than knowing that they have completed a hard task. Yet, at the same time, it also makes the time you do have off feel more valuable. It literally feels better to relax after knowing that you were able to grind out a task before having time for leisure. Conversely, only focusing on your job, your field, or any other passion that takes time or effort is also harmful. Always being in do mode is stressful and dangerous. It constantly weighs on your mind when you aren't working, and it makes time to relax seem unnecessary and useless despite the quite literal need for rest. From both instances, we can also extract a similar problem. Either case reviewed would show that for most people, they are prioritizing an aspect of life other than arguably the most important. They fail to see that they should be prioritizing happiness over laziness or diligence. In my personal, albeit unprofessional opinion, life should be about finding what makes you the happiest and pursuing it until it is no longer fulfilling. Whenever I have seen those who are truly content, it seems that regardless of the past complexity of life, they have settled upon a foundation of simple pleasures. To simplify the point, essentially, they found what in the world made them happy, and they surrounded themselves with it. The people living the best lives are those who pursued that which they enjoy to its utmost. Of course, this implies, counter to my previous point, that for some, constantly distracting themselves or incessantly working are the right choice. If the only thing that gives one pleasure is sitting down and playing a video game, or working until their finger nubs bleed, then far be it for me to lament their position. However, for most people, this isn't the case. Constantly focusing on one or the other causes a disconnect, where though they are achieving something, either virtually or physically, they never feel truly fulfilled. Escapism is at its most helpful in these cases. Understanding that life requires a balance is something that most people, even myself, despite making this whole essay, have yet to truly learn. Doing either too much, when that simply isn't how your brain is built, is only going to get you hurt in the long run. But understanding that being able to de-stress, to get away, to live in a moment that is under your control and supervision without having pressure behind it can truly save your mental health. Finding the balance of work to play is not just beneficial, but essential. I know it sounds upsettingly ambiguous, but it's true. Understanding how much you can take before you need a break is integral.
Just look at that concentration! Oh, a little shaky on that entry, but just look at that form!
Take that, yellow boy!
The virtual realm is no different. To a person like yours truly, competition is an indelible motivator that helps to push me forward into participating in sports, games, and activities that I never would have found enjoyment in otherwise. Competition has helped me become more physically imposing, to become smarter, to be more motivated. It has, in all these ways and more, made me a happier person. I feel as though this idea is easily translatable to others. The ability to compete is pushed into so many aspects of life because it is an incredible motivator. People love to win and they like to improve. Using such logic, it is easy to see that such a motivator, much in the same manner as escapism, can be used to great effect if utilized correctly. Competition makes one who is unfit strong. It can raise grades, save lives, improve life skills, boost confidence, and so on. Of course, it has its downfalls, as does everything. Being too competitive is obnoxious. It can break relationships, hurt feelings, even drive people to cheat and lie just so that they can grasp at the ever-elusive state that is victory. It may be impossible to ever truly remove such toxicity from the vector of performance that is competition, but that does not mean that they outweigh the importance of what it provides. Humans were born on the back of competition. We used it throughout history for a reason. Yes, games are fun and competition is stimulating, but the advancement of the human race was at least partially predicated on the fact that humans, while cooperative, are also immensely confrontational. We want to know who is the best at what, and competition is one of the most straightforward ways to find out. It has led to scientific advancements, societal progression, broken records, and moments of immense triumph. Understand that, as is the case with escapism, so too is it with competition. Though it can be conceived of as good or bad, its correct usage can be very advantageous. But why do either of these things matter in the context of this video? Was the premise of this whole journey not to talk about what video games meant? Good questions, me, and hopefully you. Well, they matter because they are examples of what people play video games for. Notice I said examples, and not the reasons. The distinction in rhetoric is important, if not obvious. You'll notice that, at the start of this monologue, it was centered on me, and though I was referencing the ensuing pieces, it was sparingly. This was by design, obviously, since I'm the one who wrote it. I have certainly played games for escapist and competitive purposes in the past. Arguments, school, friendships, and relationships take their toll on me as they would with anybody else. Of course I love to feel like I can get away, or excel in a versus-style deathmatch against another player. But that isn't everything of what video games are to me. They have served so many roles in my own life, in making me both better and worse, that it would be hard to articulate and impossible to quantify. To reduce gaming down to 1 or 2 points would be a fool's errand, a task far beyond my own ability to explain for sure. The fact that it is so spread out is the point. People will play games for many reasons. For some, it's just because it's fun, for others it's a job, and for still more, it's a helpful break from reality. People, if they are not disillusioned, want to think the best of themselves and the worst of others. If you give another individual ammo and they dislike you enough to use it, then they will. When you play games, for whatever reason, it's easy to say it's pointless. It's easy to say that it serves no function, or that it hurts you, or that all of those benefits are fabrications replicatable within other activities. I'm not saying that there will never be weight to those words, because there might. But in the end, what does it matter? It's just as easy to say that corruptible concepts like competition and escapism are negative in one's life as it is to say that they are positive. What does matter is what you think, what you get out of it. No one, not your parent, friend, loved one, or rival, will ever have access to your thoughts the way that you do. Nobody knows exactly how or what you think. Others cannot instinctively tell how you feel. Gaming is a vector of expression, and if that freedom of individuality helps in some way that others don't see, then pay them no heed. This is the same for any passion, anything that you love. It never hurts to take advice, but understand that you are the master of your own fate. And if you want a happy destiny, no one is going to be better at steering the ship that is your life down the stream of existence better than you can. Think for yourself. Never let someone stop you just because that is what they thought is best. Love yourself, and know that if you are ever alone, if you ever feel sad, if you ever need an escape, then there is no problem in using an avenue like playing video games to get what you need. Thank you for listening. I love you all. Good night. Sincerely, your friend, William. P.S. If you like the background gameplay footage and think I'm a rad lad, then follow on Instagram, Twitter, and my Twitch. Oh yeah, baby!